Today, you probably helped save a life. Or perhaps helped keep a watchful eye on a neighborhood. Today, you probably helped put food on someone's table. Or help build a road that leads to a destiny. You may have even helped shape the minds of our future. By paying your taxes, you help keep critical medical staff in a job, a school to run, or a neighborhood safe, and a whole lot more. Your taxes help Zambia become better for you and me. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Hello, thank you for joining us on Tax Chat. My name is Alice Lungo. On today's chat, we are looking at tax clearance certificate. The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, continues to emphasize on the importance of the tax compliance as a pillar of national development. When tax comply, government is able to collect revenue efficiently and provide essential services such as roads, hospitals, and good schools. As we have approached the new year, ZRA is encouraging all taxpayers to regularize their tax affairs and ensure that all tax returns are filed and any outstanding taxes are settled. This is important because a tax clearance certificate, commonly known as TCC, will be required in 2026 for various transactions. The 2025 tax clearance certificate expired on the 31st of December 2025. Only taxpayers who are fully compliant will be able to obtain a 2026 tax clearance certificate, which is required to conduct certain business transactions, access selected government services, and carry out foreign payments without the application of advanced income tax where applicable. To be compliant, taxpayers must ensure that they are registered correctly, submit and require tax returns. In studio with me are two representatives from the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, who will help us understand what a tax clearance certificate is, why it is important, and what taxpayers need to do to ensure they are compliant before the end of the year. From my far left is Mrs. Peloni Chisanga, Senior Tax Consultant, and from my immediate left is Mr. Edwin Walia, a tax consultant. Mr. Walia and Mrs. Chisanga, good to have you on Tax Chat.
We're happy to be here.
Yes.
Thank you, Alice. We're happy to be here.
To kickstart, Mr. Walia, 2025 are now passed and taxpayers are already planning for the year 2026. What is ZRA message to taxpayers as they plan for the year 2026?
Thank you, Alice. So the message to our dear taxpayers is that we are happy and we are thankful that they've contributed to the national development in our nation for the year 2025. And Alice, I must be quick to mention that we were able to meet our record target set for last year, which was 160 billion kwacha, through you, the taxpayers' contributions. And our key message today is that we remain compliant. Why is it important that we remain compliant? Because in our new year, this 2026, the taxpayers will be required to have a new tax clearance certificate, commonly known as a TCC. So now what are the taxpayers required to do? So you, our taxpayers, you are required to ensure that your returns are filed on time and also your payments are done on time. Why is that important? It is important, Alice, that the payments are done on time and the returns are also done on time, to ensure that our taxpayers are able to have a valid tax certificate, to ensure that they're able to conduct business, as well as tender for businesses with the government, as well as be able to do foreign payments without being attracted with advanced income tax. So our message in simple terms is that we encourage our taxpayers to be compliant so that they're able to have their TCC for this year.
Okay. Mrs. Chisanga, one of the topical issues in 2025 was the charging of advanced income tax or AIT on remittance outside the country for taxpayers without a valid tax clearance certificate. Should taxpayers expect the same in 2026?
Yes, Alice. The taxpayers should expect the same. These compliance requirements are going to continue for the year 2026. So our message to the taxpayers is that for certain remittances outside the country, there will be advanced income tax that they will be subjected to if they do not have a valid tax clearance certificate. So we're encouraging them to be compliant so that they are issued with a valid tax clearance certificate for them to avoid the advanced income tax that is charged on such remittances. So what is expected of them? Like Edwin had said, we expect them to file their returns on time, to make correct payments on time, and to keep records. So we'll elaborate more on that as we continue.
Okay. Can taxpayers obtain a tax clearance certificate online, Mr. Balia?
Yes, actually, it's an obligation of a taxpayer to get the TCC online, and the steps are very simple. So if you're familiar with the tax portal, our ZRA portal, you have to go on the website, then you go on the e-service portal. Once you're on the e-service portal, you are required now to log in with your login credentials. That is the tip-in and your password. So once you log in, our taxpayers are required to go and check their compliance. That is the returns and also the payments. Are the payments have been done or up to date, and are the returns up to date? So once that is checked and your account is clean, you then go on compliance. There's a module on your, once you open the portal, there's a module on your left side of your screen. You go on compliance, click on compliance. Then after that, there'll be a drop down. You click on apply for TCC. So once you apply for a TCC, there'll be another page that will come. It will bring you your demographic details. At that point, you're required to check if all your demographic details are correct, especially your phone number and your email. So once you verify that your details are correct, you then submit, and the TCC will immediately come out, and you as a taxpayer, you'll be able to download that TCC. So it is important that to note that the TCC is only given to taxpayers that are compliant and that have their accounts that are clean.
Mrs. Chisanga, in short, you are saying a tax clearance certificate is a reward for being tax compliant. Could you briefly explain what tax compliance means?
Okay. So indeed, it is a reward.
Okay.
And ZRA, we like to refer to it as a gold star that we give our compliant taxpayers. So for you to be compliant or to be considered compliant, it means you meet all your obligations as they rise and as they fall due. So in the Zambian setting, compliance is anchored on 4 pillars. The first pillar is on-time registration for the correct tax types. Then we talk of return submission on time as well. So the underlying point is these things should be done on time. So we're talking about on-time registration, on-time return submission, and on-time payment of the correct taxes. After that is done, you should keep correct or accurate records of the transactions that happen in your business.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You've discussed about the 4 pillars of tax compliance in previous programs, and given the reason we're in the and the importance of tax clearance certificate at the start of the year, could you briefly take us through the 4 pillars again, Mr. Badia?
Okay, it's just like my colleague Pelon has mentioned, we have 4 pillars that classifies someone who's tax compliant. Okay, so the number 1 pillar is tax registration. Okay, so by tax registration I mean being registered for a correct tax type. So this is in line with the tax types that we have as ZRA. We have pay as you earn, we have income tax, we have turnover tax, and the rest. So once you register as a business and as an individual, you are required to register for a particular tax type. I also must mention that that is the initial, or rather the beginning of you being tax compliant.
Okay.
Then our second pillar is return filing. So once you register a particular tax type, you are then now required to file your returns. So filing in returns doesn't mean you just file a return at any time you want, or you feel like filing. It's supposed to be done on time, depending on the particular tax type that you've applied for. Okay. Yes. So that's pillar number 2, return filing. Then moving on to our third pillar, which is payment. Okay. So payment is pillar number 3. And under payments, you are required to ensure that you make payments also on time. So once a return is filed, it creates a liability. So at that point, you as a taxpayer, you're obligated to ensure that that liability is paid, and not just being paid at any time you want also. It's supposed to be paid on time. Lastly, and not the least, we have pillar number 4, which is record keeping. Okay, record keeping implies you ensuring that your records are kept. Records, I mean, it could be invoices, it could be receipts. Okay, so why are these records important to keep as a taxpayer? Because these records, when it comes to audit for your financial books, you are required to present them, and if they are not in order, you risk having penalties and fines on your account. Yes, so those 4 pillars are the pillars that will ensure that you as a taxpayer are tax compliant.
Okay. You have explained that tax compliancy is anchored on 4 areas, including filing returns, making correct declarations on time. Why is it important for taxpayers to file accurate returns, Mrs. Chisanga?
Alice, it's important for our taxpayers to know that a return is a means of communication between them and ZRA. That is the means on which they tell us, or they communicate to us, what is happening in their businesses. So it is important that it is accurate, because it gives us a position of what is happening in their various businesses. So it tells us when they have business or they do not have business, how much they're going to make or how much they're going to pay. So it gives ZRA, it puts ZRA in a good position when our taxpayers file their returns, the accurate returns, because we are able to estimate, to say, okay, we're going to make this much, we're going to make such collections from this period because of those declarations that are made through a return. And another reason why it is important to file accurate returns is that it makes them compliant. It makes them avoid penalties and interest that are lumped on people that are not compliant. And then they meet their obligation. It is an obligation of a taxpayer to file accurate returns. So when they do so, it means they have met their obligation. And also the government is able to properly account for support and for the amounts that are being collected and it is important because it supports national development. Then another thing that is important to note to our taxpayers is that even when your business is not making anything, you are still required to communicate to us. How you communicate? Through an accurate return. And that communication, we refer to it as a new return. It is nil or zero because it tells us that there was nothing that happened in your business. However, it also tells us that you are still active. It's just that in this month, you did not make an earning. So that is why it is important for you, our taxpayers, to file inaccurate returns.
In case you are just joining us, you are watching Tax Chat, and today we are looking at tax clearance certificate, and helping us look at that is Mrs. Chisanga and Mr. Walia from ZRA, Zambia Revenue Authority. What is the importance of making tax payments on time, or payments compliance, Mr. Walia?
Thank you, Alice. To our dear viewers today, it is important to note that paying taxes is actually a legal obligation, and it's also a civic responsibility. But why is it important to make these payments? Alice, you and I understand that these contributions that we make as taxes, they go towards several national development projects.
Yes.
Including infrastructure development, such as roads, hospitals, and schools, and also procurement of medical facilities in the hospitals. So if you and I as a taxpayer contribute that little amount, it goes towards those things. That's why it's important that we as taxpayers make those payments, and make those payments on time. It is also important to note that payment compliance, or rather making payments towards our taxes, will also help us to avoid penalties as well as interest on our accounts. Because if you as a taxpayer don't make those payments on time, it means that you'll be owing, not just ZRA, but you'll be owing to the nation. Yeah. So you are required to ensure that payments are made on time, to ensure that there are no liabilities on your account. So in summary, why is it important to make these payments? These payments go towards the national development of our country. And also, we as taxpayers, you and I, Alice, we agree that these are payments that we contribute to the government, help us to run this country in the manner that is supposed to be run.
Mrs. Chisanga, talking about tax compliance, why is it important? Why is tax compliance important?
Firstly, it is a foundation of you accessing a tax clearance. That is one. Remember the gold star that we're referring to? We want to have it for us to have a peace of mind in our businesses. So if a taxpayer does not have a valid tax clearance, it means they're not compliant, and therefore they're going to be inconvenienced. The inconveniences will cut across so many aspects. They will not be able to get support from lenders. They will not be able to be given businesses, they will not be able to get loans to continue their businesses. So you can think of so many reasons why it is important to be compliant. But the most important ones, I'll list them in practical terms. It reduces the inconveniences and the financial pressures that are caused by penalties and interest. Currently, the year has just begun, and people want to know how they'll fare in their businesses. They want to get businesses. So if you do not have a valid tax clearance, the chances are that people will think you're not credible. They'll think your business is not legit. And in such a case, they'll not give you businesses. So if you are compliant, you have that valid tax clearance certificate, it sets you apart from somebody that doesn't have, because it means you are serious with your business, you are serious with your obligations, and you are a compliant and a law-abiding citizen. when you are compliant. Another thing to mention is that you don't want to just be inconvenienced. And one thing that I wanted to mention is that when you get a tax clearance today and it shows that it is valid up until 31st December, it does not mean now you need to relax and just forget about all your obligations. You need to continuously make sure that you are compliant on a monthly basis if your tax typing requires that you submit your returns and make payments monthly. Because if you lag behind, that tax clearance will be suspended. And suppliers, lenders, they all know how to check for validity of tax clearance certificates. So do not be disadvantaged. It is very important to be compliant. And being compliant means the entire year you have to be compliant.
Okay. You've mentioned the importance of being compliant. We want to know, Mr. Bwalia, the consequences of not being tax compliant. What are some of the consequences?
I'll use a practical example, Alice. Not to bully you. I know you're my boy from Kumawa.
Yes.
Yes. So imagine you're about to win a tender in Chipata from the government. You're about to win that. You're about to get that tender, but unfortunately, your account is not clean. You're about to win a tender of, let's say, 5 billion.
I can imagine that.
Yes. And just because you didn't file maybe a return, or you didn't make a payment for maybe, let me just say, 100 kwacha, at that point, you're deemed to be uncompliant. That's a consequence. You will
end up losing
that tender. Something that you could have just done in a few minutes. So that's one of the consequences. You will lose tenders, you will lose business. Like Pelon mentioned, you'll be inconvenienced as an individual as well as a business. The other consequences are penalties, something that we already spoke about. Penalties and interest also accrue on your account. The other example I would give is if you're not tax compliant, the consequence is that you won't be able to get a TCC. You will want to make a foreign payment. Maybe, Alice, you've got a daughter who's studying abroad, and you want to make that foreign payment. Unfortunately, you are charged AIT because you don't have a valid TCC. It's because you're not compliant. So those are just some of the practical examples I'll give for not being compliant and the consequences that may arise as a result of not being tax compliant.
Yes. I think as Alice, I will need to avoid all that in order for me to benefit. Your concluding remarks, I will begin with you, Mrs. Chisanga, on the tax clearance certificate.
Okay, so dear taxpayers, the 2025 tax clearance certificate expired on 31st of December. So now is your time to get the new tax clearance certificate that is valid up until December 31st, 2026. So for you to get that tax clearance, you need to ensure that your account is clean, you are compliant, your returns are filed, payments are made, and you have good, accurate records. Then for you to get that tax clearance, Mr. Bwalia had mentioned the process of how you're supposed to do that. That process is done on your account as a taxpayer. Me as Pelon, the officer at ZRA, will not be able to generate a tax clearance using my account. It is on your account because we want to make sure that you are compliant. So for you to be able to access the tax clearance, we encourage that you ensure your demographics are up to date. That is your phone number and your email address, so that you're not inconvenienced or so that you don't come and queue up the whole day just to get a tax clearance. Added to that, I would want to remind our taxpayers that all those that are coming, that are registering new businesses, even those that have old businesses, please register for Smart Invoice. If you're already registered, we encourage you to continuously use the Smart Invoice. Do not wait for somebody to ask you for it, and then that is when you use it. Especially for our taxpayers on VAT, It is a requirement. It is law for you to use the smart invoice. In conclusion, we want to thank you, our taxpayers, for being compliant, and we encourage you to continue being compliant. Then the general public, every time you make a transaction, ask for a receipt. It is your right. You are obligated to do so, and please ask for smart invoice also. Thank you so much. Mr. Edwin will finish up with how you can get in touch with us.
So for more information, if you are struggling to get that TCC, you can simply visit our nearest your nearest ZRA office, or you can simply email us on our official web email address, which is www.zra.org.zm, or you can simply call our call center, which is 411. And always remember, you are taxpayers, that it is my tax, your tax, our destiny.
Well, Mrs. Chisanga and Mr. Valia, it's been a pleasure having you on Tax Chat.
It's always nice to be here, Alice.
Thank you, Alice.
We've come to the end of the show. I believe you now have a full information about the tax clearance certificate. This has been Alice Lungu, and you've been watching Tax Chat. Remember to tune in again next time as we'll bring to you another exciting topic. Like Mr. Valia had said, remember, it's my tax, your tax, our destiny.